What's up, YouTube? My name is Dane. Just wanted to share another story. I shared one the other day, and I got some mixed feedback. You know, a lot of people hate that I talk about God and preach Jesus, but that's not going to change. You know, it's part of my story. So I'm just on here telling things how they happened, and I'm not like embellishing anything. This is just what happened, and it's my story. You know, if you don't like that or you disagree, okay, but I'm speaking to people trying to, wake people up to the spiritual reality of gang stalking. And one thing I do know is, just like the people in my comments, the people that are gang stalking don't like Jesus. And so if there's no power in the name of Jesus, they wouldn't care. And from my experience, anything other than the truth is what they're trying to get you to believe. And so this story is going to kind of relate to that in a way. So let me set the scene. I was downtown, and I was talking to, I guess you could call her an acquaintance, a street chick that I knew. At this time, like some of you guys know, my past was rough, right? And I was still using drugs. I was still running the street and all that stuff. And so I don't know how the conversation got up, right? But we started talking about the Bible. And at this time, I'm a believer, but I'm in my sin still, right? And so she starts talking about how she was kind of raised in church, and she believes in Christian ideals and things like that. And I'm like, so basically she was like I'm a Christian, but I don't believe in certain things. And I was like, and so I wasn't being like rude or nothing, but I'm like, you can't really say you're a Christian if you don't believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, So I was just explaining that to her, and so it was like it was a positive conversation, right? So we're sitting there, like, we're both seated down on like some plastic buckets, and we're right by like this freeway exit and then a city block, and it's pretty busy around. It's not like we're in the middle of nowhere. We're downtown Seattle, right? And so yeah, I'm talking to her, and then she starts like asking questions about the Bible, right? And so I'm answering it, and it's like this conversation was going good. Like, it was like an uplifting, like positive, like I think God was on it, to be honest, because I had some things to say to her that was kind of just smoothing some things out. And so as we're conversating, out of nowhere, it's like I just hear this boom right at our feet, right? Really, really loud. And both of us jumped up out of our seat. She screamed, ah! This is like loud and abrasive noise right at our feet. And I looked down, and there's like this, it was like a thing of like gel or something, about this big, that was full. So it had some weight to it. Like someone had thrown it, right? From behind us. And I looked up, and this lady is at a distance where she couldn't hear what we were saying. She was up this hill from us, and she is pissed. Like, she's looking, like at this point when I turn around, she's looking over her shoulder, walking away, and she just has this mean scowl on her face, right? And so she's breaking up the convo, right? But there's no way she could hear what we were saying. And so as I'm talking to my friend, I'm like, you don't think that's weird? I was like, that's really weird timing on that. And like, of course, I've been used to these things going on and the stalking and stuff like that. And so these peculiar moments were kind of like an everyday thing, but the timing of this was just like, so I'm talking to her, and I'm like, yeah, that's weird. And she agreed. She's like, yeah, that is kind of creepy. Like, we're talking about God, and then this crazy lady's throwing stuff at us, right? And she couldn't hear it. I'm telling you, she was too far away. There's traffic. No way she could have known what's going on. And so I'm sitting there talking to her, and then, like I said, we're right off this freeway exit to where the exit comes onto the city streets. And so as I'm talking to her, like, I'm noticing these cars pulling up next to us, and all of them are like super creepy, grinning at me, right? And I'm like the first two, I'm like, okay, and then like 3 or 4, right? And I'm like, I'm talking to her, and I said, hey, look at all these people, like, look at the looks on their faces. And as I'm saying that, the car next to us, like, she starts throwing her head back, laughing like a psycho. And her windows are up, she's not on the phone, you know, right as I'm saying, like, look at their faces. And it was like this demonic, just like creepy grin, like, and this lady's like laughing. So like, I even was like, look, check this out. Like, what do you think about this? And she's like, let's get out of here. Like, it scared her, right? It was creepy to me too. And so we walk up the hill from where we were at, like towards where the lady had thrown that thing at us, right? And that lady's gone at this point. So we're walking up there, and like, we only get to like a quarter block, and there's a bus stop there. There's one on my side of the street, and then across the street there's another one with the bus going opposite way. So they're like this, you know. So as we're getting close to this bus stop, the one across from me, there's a lady over there, and she's yelling this. She's like, God's not real. God's not real. She's going on and on, right? Just mocking me. God's not real. So it's like me just mentioning the Bible and Jesus, right? It's like it's stirring up this whole atmosphere. So I'm getting people driving up, manifesting. I'm getting a lady across the street screaming, yelling. How does this lady know what I'm talking about? This lady's a quarter of the block up, right? So she's going on, God's not real, God's not real. And then she starts getting super vulgar. She starts talking about how, like, I can't even really say what she's saying, you know, but she's like, basically how she's like, anyone out here can have sex with me, and she's going on and on yelling this, right? And like, obviously it's in different words. She was being a lot more vulgar, and just so I sat down at the bus stop, and I'm just watching this lady, and this whole like this whole vibe of this blog is just like, man, it's heavy. Everything's just dark, right? And this lady's going on, and then so where I was sitting, it's like a bench at the bus stop, and then there's a cement wall like right behind me, pretty much like where this chair sits. So there's a wall, and then behind me is this hospital with a parking lot that sits like probably 15 feet down from where I was at, 10-15 feet. So there's a wall, and then it drops off, and there's a parking lot behind me. And like, I'm getting this weird feeling. So like, I look over this wall like behind me, right? And there's cars down there, and I look directly over the wall, and when I look down, there's a car that's parked literally right below me. And I look down at this car, and there was a lady that her, like, this is so creepy, dude. Her head was like this, like turned all the way up, looking straight up. She's in the driver's seat, but her head's like this, and she has the same smile on her face, looking directly up the wall. There's nothing she would be looking at. She didn't know I was there. I looked over the wall, and when I looked, she was already staring at me. And I'm like, what the? And I said, hey, look. And she looked over the wall, and she's like, ah! Like, this lady got so scared. And then after that, I'm like, let's get out of here. This is crazy. So after that, we pulled off the street and went back into like the jungle area. You know, that's just anywhere off the street. But after that, things kind of died down. But I'm telling you, man, They don't like the name of Jesus because through Jesus you can overcome all their tactics. You can overcome the world through Christ. And that's just something I've noticed. That was one time where things got super dark after me talking about God. And I had one that was probably 10 times crazier than this that I'll share here coming up. But yeah, there's power in the name of Jesus, and I definitely know this, that they don't like it. So, all right, guys, have a good day. I hope you guys like the little testimony, and more to come.